Hey guys, how's it going? My name is Taylor, and in today's video we're finally doing a long overdue update on my 2003 Jaguar XJR-R1 project. So let's go ahead and check it out real quick. So for those of you watching in the UK, I hope that you appreciate my pronunciation of the word Jaguar. I was calling it the Jaguar in the last video, as many Americans would pronounce it, and you have not let me live it down for 7 months now, so I'm calling it the proper name, so excuse my ignorance. The Jag has actually been up here for the last 7 months since I uploaded that video in June of 2019, and I have not done anything with it. This is the first time it's left the garage since June of 2019, and we're finally getting ready to do a proper restoration on this car. Just a little recap, I picked this up at the local dealer auto auction in June of 2019 for $1,150 US. I was into it $1,380 after the buy fees, and it is a really cool car. I've always really liked these, but this one needs a lot of work. And keep in mind, you're watching this video on your computer through the lens of a GoPro camera, so it looks better on camera than it does in person. So I'm gonna go through and just mark down a couple little things that we're gonna be doing. For one, this door was actually painted with a paintbrush. Hopefully you can see it on camera. It's been sideswiped and then painted with a paintbrush. We're gonna be replacing this door. I've got bumpers front and rear. We're gonna be doing paintless dent repair. I'm gonna wet sand all the little scratches out of it, buff it out. We have a ton of interior work to do, but we'll go over that when we get to the shop. So yeah, this is it. We're taking it to the shop to finally get all this work done. And I also should mention that there is a surprise waiting for us at the shop. So let's go check that out right now. Alrighty guys, we got the car pulled in the garage, and right behind it is the surprise. So when I raise the camera, you'll see it. We not only have one, but we have two 2003 Jaguar XJR-R1s now. So this is the car we're gonna be doing all the work to. And this is a car that I bought to harvest a bunch of parts off of. This was actually a car that I purchased from the insurance auto auction of Las Vegas, Nevada. And as you can probably tell, it's been out in the Nevada heat in the desert. The hood got cooked, the roof got cooked, and the rear, there's a little bit of cookage back here, but one of the bigger pieces of damage was this rear deck lid actually got backed into. This honestly may have happened at the insurance auto auction yard. There's absolutely no corrosion or anything on here yet, but so we do have a little body damage here, but it's kind of good news because we don't actually need a deck lid, but we've got a beautiful bumper back here. This bumper, it's actually kind of hard to find with the factory parking sensors in it, which is what the other car has as well. This bumper over here is basically ruined beyond repair. It's got a ripped out parking assist sensor there, and then the rear bumper support is actually crushed through the bumper. So we're going to be transferring the bumpers over after I bring them to the body shop for paint. And then we've got a lot of good pieces. For one, if you can see again, our door over here, which was sideswiped and painted with a paintbrush. We have an absolutely beautiful door on this car, and it's the same exact color code. It's gonna match perfectly. I actually decided, in the previous video I mentioned that I wanted to get an XJ8 or an XJ6, but this popped up. It was a reasonable deal, and I did get another set of 4 BBS Oyster wheels, and obviously the Brembo brakes, so a lot of good parts that we can use that are going to transfer right over. Now the kicker here, guys, is that I actually spent more money on the parts car than I did on the actual car that we're going to be doing all the work on. This was an incredibly good deal, and I won't deny it, and a lot of people were kind of harsh on me in the comments section of the last video because I was being overly judgmental of this car, but again, you really can't tell everything that's wrong with it on camera. It's got so many scratches in the hood. I mean, every surface on this car, it looks like somebody took a rag, threw it in dirt, and then wiped the whole car down with it. That's just how poor the paint is. Hopefully you can see under these fluorescent lights what I'm talking about. The whole entire thing is severely scratched. It's gonna take a lot of effort just to bring the paint back. And you can see up here, hopefully, a lot of scratching in the roof. I mean, these are deep scratches. I hope with a full wet sand of 2000, I can get all of these out. And then there's a big key mark down the door here. It comes from the middle of the door, and this is a door that we're leaving on the car. It comes from the middle of this door. Let's see if I turn the light on, if it gets any better. There you go. Middle of the door, all the way down the quarter panel here. There's a big dent right in the middle of the key scratch. and then somebody has actually tried to touch it up with touch-up paint that didn't even match and just made it even worse. So I'm gonna have to sand all of this off of here, buff it, and see if I can get it any better. But I mean, just look at the butchery that went on here. And then this, big scratches. So maybe I was being a little too particular about the car, given that it was such a great deal. But more than anything, I was just upset that somebody could let this happen to an $80,000 car. I mean, this was $80,000 new. And it's funny because we have two of them sitting here. This is $160,000 worth of Jags for the about $3,300 that I have into them. I mean, BBS wheels, Brembo brakes, supercharged V8s for $3,300. So here's the price breakdown on the parts car. I finally found this thing in the middle of August of 2019. It was at the insurance auto auction, like I mentioned. It was actually purchased from somebody through an app called Pedal. And this, I haven't done anything to these cars since I purchased them. This is the original little insurance auto auction sticker that was on there. So you can see it was consigned by Pedal LLC. That's basically an app that will buy your old junk. So somebody decided they didn't want to store this car, they had had enough of it, and they hired this app or whatever it is to come and buy their old junk, and then they auctioned this guy's junk off at the insurance auto auction. So I won the bid on this car at $525, which sounds great until you get into all the details. So it didn't mention if it ran or drove in the description, but I knew I wanted it because it had a good door. I knew it had two good bumpers. And another thing that it has, which I'll show you in a minute, is a great set of carpets in it. So I knew I wanted all that stuff because it was pretty hard to find. And anyways, I won the bid at $525. I also had to pay a $200 insurance auto auction registration fee. So then I'm into it $725. Well then, what else did I have to do? I had to pay for shipping. So this car, as I said, it wasn't specific about whether it ran or drove. It turns out this is a running and driving car, which is kind of a shame because I spent $1,054 to have the thing shipped from Las Vegas, Nevada to Coeur d'Alene, Idaho, where I live. So I spent the value of this entire car that I paid for this on shipping this up here, which is pretty crazy. So I think to my doorstep, there's a couple other fees that I forgot. I was into it like $2,004, which to some of you might seem stupid to pay that much for a project or a parts car when your first car wasn't even that expensive. But between the two, I'm really confident we can make a nice car out of this. So let's go ahead and go through these two again real quick and just kind of do a refresh on everything this needs and everything this has. Starting on the parts car here, and they both have the same engine as I said, but this is a dual overhead cam 4-liter V8 with a factory supercharger, which is just an awesome engine. This thing is totally complete and it does run and drive. Behind that is a Mercedes 5G-tronic transmission. Only the XJRs came with that transmission because it was a little more beefed up for that supercharged engine, which had a power output of about 370 or 375. So two good running and driving engines and transmissions in both of these cars. This particular car does have a few check engine lights on, one of which is an ABS code and a few other things. Inside here, you'll see it's pretty clean. Somebody, being in Las Vegas, you can see that the paint didn't weather too well, but somebody had some really dark window tint and it actually preserved the interior fairly well. So we're gonna be taking the speaker grill, we're gonna be taking a lot of little odds and ends out of the inside of this car. I did this, the parts car didn't have a good center console, so I bought a new one on eBay, or a good used one on eBay for the real car. What we're after here, actually, on the driver's seat are these two panels. These things are almost in perfect condition. This is a really kind of a rare perforated leather. The other car has been severely worn through, as I had mentioned in the last video. So what we're gonna be doing is actually just taking those two panels out of that seat bottom. I'm gonna bring them to the upholstery shop and get them installed in this seat bottom here to complete one really nice seat. And then obviously I've got to replace the center console here with this new center console in the back. So we've got that. We also have a door handle on this car. Granted, it doesn't match. Apparently these are pretty prone to breaking, and obvious because somebody changed it on this car. But I will be taking this out of this door and I'll bring it to the paint shop when I get the front and rear bumpers done while they've got it all mixed, and get our door panel or door handle done for that other car. Coming back here, the next thing you'll see is a really nice plush looking set of carpets back here. There's a little bit of wiring that's exposed down here from a fuse panel little cover there, but this carpet is super nice, really plush, and even the seat is in really good shape. So basically what I'm gonna do is just take the best of the best parts from either car and put them all in this car, whether it's seats, carpets, whatever. I'm gonna take the best of both and put them in this one. And this car over here has, which I had shown in the last video, has a really severe bleach stain. It actually ate through down to the padding. I know a lot of guys in the last video were saying, oh, just dye it, it's fine, put some mats in it. I don't really want to do the cheap way or the easy way on this car. I want to make it really nice, and this is just not going to cut it for me. And you can see right here, some really severe, I mean, it's just completely gone basically. So we're going to pull those out, put the good carpets in, and yeah, we've got a lot of great parts on both of these cars. This other one here, as I said, has the original Brembo brakes. It's got the BBS wheels. And one thing that was awesome, which I was so excited about, it's always the little things in life that you get excited about, but this also has a good glove box door, which is awesome because somebody had tried to pry the other one open in the other car. This thing has a full set of books. So we've got all of our books here for this car, which I think the other one was missing a few. So within all these books, I found this little kit with the Jag logo. It's a really nice little leather pouch. And this is something that only the XJR-1 or the XJR-100 would have. Oh, making a mess. This is a complete little toolkit for your BBS wheels. This is a little key for opening up your valve location on your wheels. As I've mentioned before, these wheels don't actually have valve stems. You fill air into the wheel through one of the rivets. So you can see the bare rivets here. This one looks different. And that's because we have this little tool here. You put this in, you unthread from the wheel, and you can put your little air chock in there and fill the air like so. This is a really unique set of wheels with this, and I was just so thrilled to get a car that had this little toolkit. I've actually seen some of these little caps online. I've seen some of the air fillers. I have not seen this bag or this tool. So really cool to have a full set of books that a really nice set of books that I can put in this car along with that toolkit for those XJR-R1 wheels. So moving on to the trunk, this car was pretty much missing everything. I just had the battery out of here because I had to throw it in that car to move it. But if you look in here, we're missing almost everything. Oh, and it's pretty gross in here too, so we're gonna have to clean that up. No rust or anything like that, but just like miscellaneous gross stuff in here. Rocks, I don't know why this stuff's in here, but we have a couple original tools. We're missing the original space saver, but this car has all the tools. So this is another great thing. If there's anything I've learned from doing projects like this, you end up needing 10 times more parts than you thought when you started. As soon as I start taking that car apart, I know there's gonna be way more that I'm gonna need to harvest off of this parts car, and that's ultimately why I bought it, because I just know you need way more and you end up spending way more money on stuff after you get something apart. But anyways, back here, so this opens up. All of the shocks are dead on this car, so hopefully I don't smack my head. But this also had a really nice set of mats back here too. So I'm gonna throw those mats in there, get these carpet cleaned. This is a runner for the passenger side, I believe, so I should have a good set of mats between the two cars. This is a factory navigation car, so it's got that disc changer in there as well, just like the other car. Let's see if I can pull this up. Right there, we have an original space saver. Never been used, looks really nice, so that's gonna complete the trunk on that other car. I'll clean all this junk up later. So we're really looking good between the bumpers, the miscellaneous trunk pieces, the carpets, and I will say, I looked all over the place for months trying to find carpets. I couldn't find any in reproduction. I couldn't find anybody on eBay that was selling carpets out of a junk car or a parts car. So This really worked out well for me to get a car with such beautiful carpets out here. You can see, I mean, the leather on this seat is really nice. So there's gonna be a lot of great parts left over here as well. And again, this is a running, driving car. So when I get the parts that I need, my goal will ultimately be to sell it to somebody else that either wants to use it for parts for their other car, maybe take the wheels and brakes. Those are pretty valuable. We've got a supercharged engine, transmission. I mean, we've got a lot of good stuff here. So this was a great value at $2,000 because it's ultimately going to, you know, make this a perfect car or a near perfect car. This one suffered more from exposure to sun, and this one basically had exposure to a terrible previous owner that just didn't care about it whatsoever. So I think this is a perfect candidate for a parts car because it's just a little bit too far gone in my opinion. However, all the bones are there, everything is there. I mean, all four doors are in great shape. This side of the car is just as nice over here next to the wall, and we've got a lot of good pieces that are going to be totally usable on this car because again, they are both 03s, they are both XJR-R1s, and they're both the same color, both inside and out, so everything is going to transfer over just perfectly. I do have to say, guys, what a beautiful set of cars here. I mean, granted, they're both in pretty rough shape. They've seen better days, but this is ultimately $160,000 worth of Jags that I picked up for $3,300. I mean, that is just insane to me. And gosh, I mean, they look so cool. This car, half the paint is shot on it, and it just looks incredible. And I really cannot wait to get started on these projects. We finally got them here up at the shop, so we're gonna start making some headway pretty quick. So guys, that is going to do it for today's video. I really hope that you enjoyed it. I know it has been a long time since I did an update on this car when I introduced it on the channel in June of 2019, but I promise we are going to start making some headway really quickly here. I mean, I just can't help but start working on them when they're right next to each other like this, and it'll just be so easy to transfer things back and forth. And so we're gonna get rolling on this really quick here. And I really appreciate all of the views on that video. That video has surpassed, I think, 72,000 views since last June, which is great for this little channel. And obviously the comments and everything has really motivated me to get rolling on these things. As always, guys, if you enjoyed the video today, please give it a big thumbs up for me and subscribe to the channel if you'd like to see more automotive content like this and follow along to make this Jag look like an $80,000 car again. I'm looking forward to seeing you guys next video.